Hello. Dawned on me that it might be a good idea if I was to go over the civics questions for the naturalization test. This is part of the process of becoming a citizen. You need to pass the naturalization test. And there's a bank of 100 questions. I've got them all printed out here. These are not secret questions. They give you the questions. You can download it online from the Citizenship and Immigration Services site. And they give you a test. It's 10. You have to get 10 of the questions, and you have to get 6 of them right, unless you are 65 years old and have lived here for over 20 years, in which case they have very specific asterisk questions you need to study. So they give you a bit of a break on that. I think I answered one of my questions already that I put forth in the shorts, sort of. The civics, it's history and government. And so I think, while I don't specifically remember having a civics class, I definitely remember American history and American government. So I think maybe a lot of the public school systems have that separated out. So I think I definitely remember covering those two in school. So again, it might be different across states, different across school boards. But I think either American civics is taught or American government and American history. And I think those two would probably cover most of it. So it's 100 questions. I figure I'll go over all of them. It's a long video. Don't worry about watching it if you don't want to. I have a feeling some people might find this channel if they're about to go through the process of being a citizen, and they might be interested. Or it might just be curiosity for people that were born here and don't know what questions those of us that weren't have to learn and answer. And since a lot of my questions stem from this test, I thought it was important to have it out there. And I'm not going to lie, it's Super Bowl Sunday. I do have a dog in the fight, but I've been here long enough to know that superstitions are very important in the NFL. And one of my superstitions is that I don't want to watch, I can't watch them play live, which, as far as superstitions go, for an American football fan, it's kind of a crappy superstition. But I'm not going to break that superstition today. So good luck to both the teams, and I just hope it's a good game. So here we go. I'll go over the test, and again, there's 100 questions. I'll go over it as quick as I can. They do say that there might be other answers than the ones provided that are correct, but they do appreciate if you answer with the ones on the test that they have provided. So that will reduce confusion with the agent that's giving you the interview. There are 3 sections. It's 100 questions. And again, you get 10 of them, but you have to study 100. There are 3 sections. There's American government, which is 57 of the questions. They are principles of American democracy, system of government, and rights and responsibilities. The second section is American history. That's 30 of the questions. And that is in colonial period and independence, 1800s, and recent American history and other important historical information. The third section, which is 13 questions, is integrated civics, geography, symbols, and holidays. The version I have, which I downloaded from the site to study, I had my interview in January, on January the 14th. I think it was a couple of days before inauguration, so January 16th. And the version that I downloaded from the site, it says revision 0119. So it was last revised in 2019. Some of the questions do change with administrations. And if you are here looking at the process, then I highly recommend you don't go off the questions that I'm reading. I doubt they'd change very much, but make sure that you download the most recent version of it. So here we go. American government. First question, what is the supreme law of the land? That's the Constitution. That is one of the questions that I was asked. I only answered 6 of the questions because you have to answer 6 out of 10 of them right, and I got 6. So I didn't get 10 questions, but that was one of the questions was, what is the supreme law of the land? And it's the Constitution. What does the Constitution do? And you can answer, it sets up the government, it defines the government, or it protects the basic rights of Americans. Any of those answers are okay. The idea of self-government is in the first 3 words of the Constitution. What are these words? It's we the people. What is an amendment? It's a change to or an addition to the Constitution. What do we call the first 10 amendments to the Constitution? And that's the Bill of Rights. This is an asterisk question for those over 65. This would be important. What is one right or freedom from the First Amendment? And you only have to list one. It's speech, religion, assembly, press, and to petition the government. Question 7. How many amendments does the Constitution have? That's 27. What did the Declaration of Independence do? Announced our independence from Great Britain, declared our independence from Great Britain, or said that the United States is free from Great Britain. What are 2 rights in the Declaration of Independence? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So you have to name 2 of those rights. What is freedom of religion? And that's you can practice any religion or you can practice no religion. So it's freedom of and from religion. What is the economic system in the United States? This is also an asterisk question for those over 65. And the economic system in the United States is the capitalist economy or the market economy. Choose whichever term you would like. Question 12. What is the, quote, rule of law? It's everyone must follow the law. Leaders must obey the law. Government must obey the law. And no one is above the law. So that's the section on the principles of American democracy. I lost my handy-dandy little spotlight that was eliminating the shadows on the page, but I'm just going to keep going. So that was section A. Section B is system of government. So question 13, name one branch or part of the government. You only need to name one, and you can answer either Congress, President, and the courts, or legislative, executive, and judicial. So just name one branch. That is an asterisk question for those over 65. What stops one branch of government from becoming too powerful? The answer is checks and balances or separation of powers. Either answer is good. Who is in charge of the executive branch? And that's the president. And that was one of the questions I was given. So you'll probably catch on pretty quick why I got the first 6 questions right. So who is in charge of the executive branch? The president. Who makes federal laws? That's the Congress. You can also say the Senate and House of Representatives, or you can say the national legislature. What are the 2 parts of the US Congress? Asterisk question. That's the Senate and the House of Representatives. How many US senators are there? 100. That's 2 for every state. We elect a US senator for how many years? They serve 6-year terms. This is an asterisk question. Who is one of your state's US senators now? So that's when you need to either know or you need to look up when you're taking the test. On the day you're taking the test, you need to know who your senators are. So that's going to be different depending on where you live. For me, I actually only had 1 senator when I took the test because the other one had been appointed to the cabinet and there hadn't been a replacement. So I had Rick Scott because I'm down in Florida. So question, again, it's going to be different depending on exactly when you take the test and exactly where you are. The House of Representatives has how many voting members? Answer is 435. We elect a US representative for how many years? The answer is 2 2-year terms. Name your US representative. And this was one of my questions. And the agent actually had to look it up on Google because Florida is a pretty big state. And I'd come from a slightly different district than he was used to dealing with. So he wanted to make sure I was right. But name your US representative. And again, that's going to depend on exactly when you take the test and where you're from. So that's something you need to look up beforehand. Who does a US senator represent? All people of the state. Why do some states have more representatives than others? Because of the state's population, because they have more people than other states, or because some states have more people. So the representatives, the number of representatives depend on the population of the state, and that's why some states have more. Let's see, question number 26. We elect a president for how many years? 4-year terms. In what month do we vote for president? Asterisk question. We vote in November. What is the name of the President of the United States now? Asterisk question, and one of the questions I got. So for me, because it was before inauguration, after election, but before inauguration, so my answer was Joe Biden. So again, going to depend on when you're taking this test. So make sure you know the name of the president on the day that you're taking the test. What is the name of the Vice President of the United States? Same goes for the previous question. Make sure you look it up. If the president can no longer serve, who becomes president? That's the vice president. If both the president and the vice president can no longer serve, who becomes president? It's the Speaker of the House. Who is the commander-in-chief of the military? The president. Who signs bills to become law? The president. Who vetoes bills? The president. And what does the president's cabinet do? They advise the president. Question 36 is, what are two cabinet level positions? So you have your choices here. I'll read them all off. You only need to know two of them. It's good to know the whole cabinet, but you only need to give the agent two of them if you're asked this question. So pick two of these cabinet level positions. We have the Secretary of Agriculture, Commerce, Defense, Education, Energy, Health and Human Services, Homeland Security, Housing and Urban Development, the Interior, Labor, State, Transportation, Treasury, Veterans Affairs, Attorney General, and Vice President. You don't need to know who is in those positions. You just need to name two of those positions, the titles of those positions. What does the judicial branch do? They review laws, explain laws, resolve disputes, and the judicial branch decides if a law goes against the Constitution. Question 38. What is the highest court in the United States? It's the Supreme Court. How many justices are on the Supreme Court? Now, it does say to check the website to make sure that, this is the case, but there are 9 justices at the moment when I'm answering this. So there are 9 justices. And who is the Chief Justice of the United States now? So again, if you're taking the test, you need to make sure you look up who is the Chief Justice on the day you're taking the test. For me, that would be John Roberts. Under our Constitution, some powers belong to the federal government. What is one power of the federal government? And it's to print money, to declare war, to create an army, or to make treaties. Question 42. Under our Constitution, some powers belong to the states. So what is one power of the states? Just have to answer one, but there are several. Provide schooling and education, provide protection, police, provide safety, fire departments, give a driver's license, or approve zoning and land use. Who is the governor of your state now? So again, you need to look this up. You need to make sure you know on the day of the test now who is the governor of your state. It's going to depend on what state you live in. So for me, that would be Ron DeSantis. What is the capital of your state? This is both an asterisk question for those over 65, and it's the question that I was asked. So again, it's going to depend on the state you live in. Shouldn't change on the date that you take the test. Just should be the different state. Mine's Tallahassee down in Florida. Another asterisk question. What are 2 major political parties in the United States? And they list off Democratic and Republican, because those are the 2 major political parties in the United States. And you do have to list both of them off. Asterisk question. What is the political party of the president now? It's going to depend on exactly when you're taking the test. And what is the name of the Speaker of the House of Representatives now? Again, it's going to depend on when you were taking the test. So for me, that was pretty much in flux while I was taking it, but it was solved. So make sure you look that up. That concludes the system of government. And the last section of American government is rights and responsibilities. So there are 4 amendments to the Constitution about who can vote. Describe one of them. So the 4 amendments are that citizens 18 and older can vote, that you don't have to pay a poll tax to vote. Any citizen, women and men, can vote, and any race, a male citizen of any race can vote. So those are the 4 amendments. 49, asterisk question. What is one responsibility that is only for United States citizens? You can serve on a jury or vote in a federal election. Question 50, halfway there. Name one right only for United States citizens. So a right of United States citizens. You have a right to vote in a federal election, and you have a right to run for federal office. What are two rights of everyone living in the United States? So this isn't for the citizens. There are two rights of everyone living in the United States. So you have freedom of expression, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, freedom to petition the government, freedom of religion, and the right to bear arms. So you just need to know two of those. 52. What do we show loyalty to when we say the Pledge of Allegiance? And that's the United States, or you can say the flag of the United States. What is one promise to make when you become a United States citizen? So this is when you take the oath. You have to make these promises. You only need to list one of them, but these are the choices that you can say. You have to give up loyalty to other countries. You have to defend the Constitution and the laws of the United States. You have to obey the laws of the United States. If needed, you need to serve in the US military. You need to serve the nation if needed. So you need to do important work for the nation if needed. And you are promising to be loyal to the United States. 54. How old do citizens have to be to vote for president? The answer is 18, asterisk question. What are two ways that Americans can participate in their democracy? Long list, but you only need to know two of them. You can participate. You can vote. You can join a political party. You can help with a campaign, join a civic group, join a community group, give an elected official your opinion on an issue, call senators and representatives, publicly support or oppose an issue or a policy, run for office, or write to a newspaper. When is the last day you can send in federal income tax forms? This is the asterisk question. The answer is April 15th. I know if that's on a Sunday, you can send them in afterwards, but they like the answer to be April 15th. When must all men register for the Selective Service? The answer is at age 18 or between the ages of 18 and 26. So that's American government. There are 30 questions in the American history section. So for the colonial period and independence, we have, what is one reason colonists came to America? They came for freedom, political liberty, religious freedom, economic opportunity, to practice their religion, and to escape persecution. So you just need to list one of those. 59, who lived in America before the Europeans arrived? You can answer, according to the test, you can answer either American Indians or Native Americans. What group of people was taken to America and sold as slaves? Very general here, they just say Africans or people from Africa. Why did the colonists fight the British? And it was because of high taxes, which was taxation without representation, because the British army stayed in their houses, which was boarding and quartering, and because they didn't have self-government. Now, it doesn't say you need only one of those, but I'm guessing the agent would accept just one, but those are the reasons that the colonists fought the British. Who wrote the Declaration of Independence? That would be Thomas Jefferson. And when was the Declaration of Independence adopted? It was adopted on July 4th, 1776. There were 13 original states. Name 3 of them. So you need to name 3 of these states. The 13 original states were New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. What happened at the Constitutional Convention? The Constitution was written. Or you could say the Founding Fathers wrote the Constitution. This is question 66. When was the Constitution written? It was 1787. The Federalist Papers supported the passage of the US Constitution. Name one of the writers. I have a feeling I know the most common answer, but we have Madison, Alexander Hamilton, John Jay, and Publius. So you only have to name one. Question 68. What is one thing that Benjamin Franklin is famous for? You can say he was a US diplomat. He was the oldest member of the Constitutional Convention. He was the first Postmaster General of the United States. He was the writer of Poor Richard's Almanac, or he started the first free libraries. He's a good guy. Question 69. Who is the, quote, father of our country? That would be George Washington. And who is the first president? Asterisk question, George Washington. This is the 1800s history section. We've got, what territory did the United States buy from France in 1803? That would be the Louisiana Territory, or you can say Louisiana. Name one war fought by the United States in the 1800s. So you need to remember one of these, and the War of 1812 is one of them. Also, Mexican-American War, Civil War, and the Spanish-American War. Name the US war between the North and the South. This was one of my questions. And you can either answer the Civil War, or they will accept the war between the states. Name one problem that led to the Civil War, and that's slavery, economic reasons, and states' rights. Only need to name one. Those are the three reasons that they put on here. What was one important thing that Abraham Lincoln did? This is an asterisk question. You need to name one of these. He freed the slaves with the Emancipation Proclamation. He saved or preserved the Union, and he led the United States during the Civil War. I know he did a lot more important things, but those are the three that they want you to choose from. What did the Emancipation Proclamation do? It freed the slaves in the Confederacy, it freed slaves in the Confederate States, or it freed slaves in most southern states. They accept all answers. And what did Susan B. Anthony do? She fought for women's rights, and she fought for civil rights. So that's the 1800s. So recent American history and other important historical information. Name one war fought by the United States in the 1900s. This is asterisk question. You can answer World War I, World War II, Korean War, Vietnam War, or the Persian/Gulf War. Who was president during World War I? That was Woodrow Wilson. And who was president during the Great Depression and World War II? That was Franklin Roosevelt. Who did the United States fight in World War II? That was Japan, Germany, and Italy. Before he was president, Eisenhower was a general. What war was he in? And he was in World War II. During the Cold War, what was the main concern of the United States? It was communism. What movement tried to end racial discrimination? That was the Civil Rights Movement. This is an asterisk question. What did Martin Luther King Jr. do? Again, lots of answers, but they want you to choose between he fought for civil rights or he worked for equality for all Americans. What major event happened on September 11th, 2001 in the United States? The answer that they have is terrorists attacked the United States. I think there's a lot of other answers you could put in there, but they want the overall answer. 87. Name one American Indian tribe in the United States. Now, they do state that USCIS officers will be supplied with a list of federally recognized American Indian tribes. So I think any tribe that you name that is a federally recognized tribe should be acceptable, and it might, you might want to tailor your answer to the state you're in. But the ones that they do have listed are, and I seriously apologize for any pronunciation errors, we have Cherokee, Navajo, Sioux, Chippewa, Choctaw, Pueblo, Apache, Iroquois, Creek, Blackfeet, Seminole, Cheyenne, Arawak, Shawnee, Mohegan, Huron, Oneida, Lakota, Crow, Teton, Hopi, and Inuit. Those are the ones that they have on the list. And we're on the last section. We have 13 questions in the integrated civics. The first section is geography. And I think this might be my favorite question on the whole test. It's name one of the two longest rivers in the United States. And I do appreciate the grace that they are giving to us. It's the Missouri and the Mississippi. Because I've done enough traveling, and I know that the Missouri is the longest, but I also know that almost everybody I've talked to thinks it's the Mississippi. So I appreciate the grace they're giving us, but name one of the 2 longest rivers in the United States, and it's the Missouri River or the Mississippi River. What ocean is on the west coast of the United States? It's the Pacific. What ocean is on the east coast of the United States? The Atlantic. Name one US territory. This might depend on when you're taking it, but one US territory could be Puerto Rico, US Virgin Islands, American Samoa, Northern Mariana Islands, or Guam. Name one state that borders Canada. That's Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Minnesota, North Dakota, Montana, Idaho, Washington, and Alaska. Name one state that borders Mexico. We've got California, Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas. This is an asterisk question. What is the capital of the United States? And that's Washington, D.C. And this is an asterisk question. Where is the Statue of Liberty? And they accept New York, New York Harbor, Liberty Island, or New Jersey, near New York City, and on the Hudson River. So if you give them any hint as to where the Statue of Liberty is located, I think they'll accept it for you. Symbols. Why does the flag have 13 stripes? Because there were 13 original colonies, because the stripes represent the original colonies. Why does the flag have 50 stars? This is an asterisk question. Because there is 1 star for each state, because each state star represents a state, and because there are 50 states. And then what is the name of the national anthem? That's the Star-Spangled Banner. And the very last question with last section with 2 questions is, when do we celebrate Independence Day? July 4th. That's an asterisk question. And the very last question is, name 2 national US holidays. And the options that they give you are New Year's Day, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, President's Day, Memorial Day, Independence Day, Labor Day, Columbus Day, Veterans Day, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. So if you stuck it out all the way to the end, either good luck on your test, or I hope it was a nice refresher from what you might have learned in high school. And yeah, that's the bank of 100 questions that we have to study to become naturalized citizens. So I hope that was helpful, and now I'll find something else to distract me from the Super Bowl. So thank